My mom got a $30,000 personal loan in my name without my knowledge. The account is from February, which is when they bought a boat. Now they've missed 4 payments and told me that they're going to let it default since the boat can't be repossessed, and they're going to call DCFS on me.
What's DCFS?
I think it's like Child Protective Services.
Oh. Wait, what? Yeah, you're right. Department of Children and Family Services.
Yeah. So this originally comes from August 2024. I knew my mom had her eye on a pontoon boat for the last year. She and my dad retired in 2022, and while they aren't swimming in money, they weren't hurting much for it either, or so I thought. They bought a boat in February for a little over $30,000. I didn't think a lot of it since they've always rented a pontoon boat 2 to 3 times per year and didn't appear to have any money issues. At the start of July, I began getting my ducks in a row to buy a house. When I applied for a pre-approval, I found out my credit score was barely over 600 and I had an extra $30,000 in debt I had no idea about. Even worse, it was 90 plus days late. I told the lender the account wasn't mine, and he said my identity had probably been stolen, but it was probably someone close to me, as the money would have had to go to a bank account with my name on it. I shared a bank account with my ex-fiancé and asked the bank to look into it. They said the account had been closed a couple of years ago, when we broke up, and no attempts to send money to it / take money from it have been made since. I filed a dispute with the company and the credit agencies as it was obvious to me I had been hacked or my identity had been stolen. About a week ago, I got a notice from the company to my apartment saying that they were going to charge off the account if payment wasn't made. I requested more information from them and they linked me to their fraud department. They were able to tell me where the money was sent, to a bank account from when I was a minor that I shared with my mom. When I called the bank, they confirmed that there was activity on the account, and the statement showed the loan coming in and almost all of the money being transferred into what looks like my mom's account at the same bank. I haven't used that bank in more than a decade. I called my mom and asked her about it, and she, after a long pause, said that's how they bought the boat. They made 1 payment on the account and realized they probably couldn't afford the monthly payments for the next 5 years. When I asked why they hadn't told me, she said it was because they figured I would say no.
Duh.
They were right, and that they had worked hard in their lives and wanted to enjoy retirement. It ended by them saying the boat couldn't be repossessed because it was a personal loan. My mom suggested declaring bankruptcy, and I told them I was going to the police. My mom said not to do that because they wouldn't take it seriously. When I told her I was doing it anyway, she hinted that she might have to call DCFS on me. My 2-year-old burned themselves on a hot pan earlier this year. Simple ER visit and was told accidents happen. He's fine. But she would have to call them regarding an unsafe home.
Oh.
I think I'm still going to go to the police because declaring bankruptcy would make it impossible to buy a house. I just needed to vent and looking for any advice.
What? The actual fuck. Okay, when you read the title and it said DCFS, I was like wondering what the age was. Because I thought, I don't know, I didn't realize like she was calling it on her family and her kids. Like OP's family and her kids.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't even know what to do here.
That's so funny. You said her kids. I'm thinking his kids. It doesn't say anywhere like what OP's gender is.
Oh yeah, sorry.
And that's just so funny because it shows my default.
We have to stop doing that.
And your default of
what
OP would be. Oh man.
So this was originally posted to the credit score subreddit. That's crazy. I don't have any advice for this, unfortunately. Just like relationship advice, cut off your parent. Like literally never talk to them again. Block them on everything after you get your money back and everything. After your name is cleared.
How do you get your money back?
I don't know.
Go
to the police.
They don't even
honestly
have money.
Go to the police because accidents do happen. Like I don't think they're gonna take your kids away because they accidentally burn themselves. I don't know. But, I mean, crazy stuff has happened.
You can't even take the boat because the boat would be registered in your parents' name.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
So it's not even like you have a boat. The boat, I would check for the registration and see if the registration's in my name. I would just take the boat and then sell
Like,
it.
my question is, like, were they prepared to lose their daughter in this thing?
Or
Like,
son,
sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Daughter or son,
child.
a child. Were they prepared to lose their child in this to get a $30,000 boat? Because
And they're trying to blackmail. Would be like, oh,
blackmail.
if you rat us out, we'll rat you out.
This to me, I don't know, the fact that OP shared this detail about their kids, I'm just gonna say their kids having to go to the hospital for a burn or whatever, like, I don't know, this is like a small indication that they probably talk a lot, like, with their mom.
Oh, that told them what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That they're close enough.
That they communicated.
Like, they communicate
Yeah.
stuff like this.
Yeah.
Which means, like...
Mom, like, takes it, like, that's a nice nugget I'm going to put over here to blackmail for a pontoon boat.
So, I don't know. Like, I'm definitely jumping here, but it doesn't seem like this... that they have a rocky relationship. Like, it seems like they have a good relationship, and this probably, like, out of the blue...
Yeah.
Shocked.
And it's like a personal loan, so it's not like a vehicle finance. So it's not like the vehicle was weighed against the loan to back up the loan. Like the company could come after the boat to repossess. It's a personal loan. It's like you just got they got 30,000 off of the merit of your credit, and that was it, like a line of credit.
Line of credit,
basically. Yeah. So yeah. So top comment. Copying this for every identity theft situation I see on here, since it seems to happen a lot, where you know who the person is who stole your identity. This is all the information you can find to the sub and others. 1. Call the police. You're the victim of identity theft, plain and simple. Doesn't matter who did it or what your relationship is to them. They broke the law. Now they have to face the consequences of their actions.
Jail.
2. Freeze your credit. You want to make sure it doesn't happen again. Take the proactive route of freezing your credit. 3. Monitor and track your credit. You need to be alerted if anyone tries opening a line of credit in your name. This gives you a way to do it for free, and it shows you your credit score. I guess that was a link above. 4. Warn anyone else who might be a victim. This includes family members or anyone else whose social security number might be compromised by the thief. 5. Take the police report to the credit bureaus. Give them the report number when you dispute all the accounts. Most of the time, there will be enough for them to take the accounts off your credit. It's on the creditors themselves to prove the accounts are legitimately yours, and the bureaus aren't going to get in the middle of it. A police report goes a long way in clearing up your credit. Don't take identity theft lying down, even if someone's close to you. If you let them get away with it, get ready for 5 to 10 years of bad credit, collection agencies coming after you, lawsuits, etc. Your mom 100% committed familial identity theft, and now she's trying to scare you into not reporting her. Don't let her scare you. DCFS, or the same thing in other states, are typically only going to take action if there is clear-cut signs of abuse. It sounds like a minor burn months ago is nothing. The ER staff is right. Accidents happen. Anyone can make an online report with DCFS on anyone for anything. It literally means nothing unless it's a legitimate report. And even then, the sad state of many of these state services means even real reports of real abuse often slip through the cracks. I would look into a restraining order if she tries it though. Don't declare bankruptcy, whatever you do. Just make the police report and give that information to the company that gave them the loan and the credit bureaus. They'll take care of the rest.
I was also going to say, like, if it was something that warranted, like, going to DCFS, isn't, like, the hospital obligated to report that? Yeah,
they would report it.
So
right?
I wouldn't be worried about that piece.
No, the hospital knows that accidents happen sometimes. Kids get into things. So if the hospital didn't look at the injury and be like, oh, this is something that needs to get reported, and they were just like, yeah, it's fine, then you don't have anything to stress about for blackmail.
Yeah.
Another commenter says, she stole $30,000, potentially ruined your financial future for 7 years, threatened to put your child in a situation where they can be taken and put in foster care for a fucking pontoon boat?
No, but exactly. Like, did they not think this through? Also, did they not think that she would find... Sorry, I keep saying she. That they would find out? That OP would find out?
Yeah, like they're just waiting for the day of confrontation.
Yeah. Even if it was all paid off and she, like, never happened to look at her credit for years, it would still be on her report.
Yeah. That's like
that they took out a loan. Like,
that's toxic scum, toxic
so
sludge.
crazy.
So an update comes a month and a half later. I filed my police report the same day as my first post. The officer and I talked for probably 20 minutes and I printed out a statement from the bank. I spoke with the detective a couple days later for another 20 minutes. Fast forward about 2.5 weeks and my dad called saying my mom has been arrested. He said an officer and a detective showed up at their house asking to speak with her. When she went onto the porch, they grabbed her and arrested her. The detective, same one I talked to, explained they had a warrant. My mom has never been in trouble with the law in her life, and she got arrested for a felony. They tried talking to her, and she immediately requested a lawyer. They stopped asking questions, but didn't let her see a lawyer right away. My dad was furious, but the detective told him to have a lawyer go down to the county jail in the morning before she went to the judge. The next morning, apparently she and the lawyer talked, and she was released in the afternoon with a new court date. About a week later, I get a call from DCFS requesting to meet with Mia about my son. I had nothing to hide, so I agreed. We spoke for about half an hour at my apartment, and I explained the situation. She seemed understanding and told me there was no obvious issues, she just had to follow up on a report. I will say if I'm ever in trouble, I'm hiring her lawyer. The case was dismissed at her next court date in late September. The detective called me the next day and explained the state attorney believed they wouldn't be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt she intentionally stole my identity.
Huh?
He said he figured it was a bullshit reason because he had documents from the bank and the loan company. He said the state's attorney drops a lot of cases, even open and shut ones, especially when it's not violent and they have a hired attorney. She never made a statement other than her attorney telling the detective she didn't do it. He also said the loan company might go after my mom in a lawsuit. What brings me back here is that a couple of weeks ago, the account dropped from my credit. Even better though, I got a letter from DCFS yesterday saying the allegation against me was unfounded. I'm never talking to my piece of trash mom again. Thank you to everyone who gave me advice and hope in my first post. It just sucks that she is probably going to end up with a free boat out of it, unless the loan company sues her, which I hope they do.
That's so crazy. They just let her off.
Okay,
I don't get it. How does that happen?
you know what I don't get is what we've recently watched on Netflix.
Yeah.
With the Gabby Petito case.
Yeah.
With this.
I just don't get the legal system.
I don't understand it at all. It says
How is there not enough proof?
it said an officer and detective showed up at their house asking to speak with her. When she went on the porch, they grabbed her and arrested her. And Gabby Petito, how did they never get eyes on Brian? We'll get into that at the end in the life updates section with our Netflix. But I'm so confused on this legal system. But commenter says on this, send the loan company the address where the boat is kept with a photo. I don't think it matters because if it's a personal loan, the loan company doesn't care about the boat. They have nothing to do with what the money was spent on.
Yeah.
They can't prove that the $30,000 that she stole was actually
for
spent
the
on that
boat,
boat.
yeah.
So they would just have to sue her, and then she would have to pay whatever she can to get it. Commenter 2, I'm glad you took advice and did the right thing and glad things worked out for you, except for your parents being horrible. To give you a bit of context on the DA, I posted this here before, but I'm not a lawyer, but I've worked professionally with prosecution on a bunch of cases, and going through an entire trial is crazy expensive and time consuming. Like 6 figures and 3 years isn't an uncommon cost.
Eek.
My guess is why this kind of thing doesn't get prosecuted very much ever is because there's basically no chance of recidivism. It's a crime of opportunity where she has very limited opportunities, and it's not likely to deter others from doing it if they make an example of a couple people. So there's no real legal benefit in spending the time and money to prosecute. The loan company probably will sue her, but that shouldn't make you feel better. The loan company issued a loan in your name based on her signature, which they can now prove is her signature, so they must have known they were issuing an illegal loan at the time. If anything, I kind of wish they couldn't recover because, unlike other random parents, other loan companies are likely to stop doing this if enough of them have huge losses from issuing these loans.
I'm a bit confused, not gonna lie.
Okay, basically, from what I understand, it's like there's no point in prosecuting her because to the state, it's a waste of time to set an example out of this person when they had very limited opportunities to do this. She would have to have the bank account joined with her sons in order to commit this kind of fraud versus
Or daughters.
or daughters versus like a bank robbery or a murder or something. You know what I mean? Like this was a very limited opportunity. So it makes no sense to waste all that money to make and go against somebody who has a lawyer to essentially wasting money to prove a point.
Yeah.
It's better off the loan company should sue her to get their money back or the loan company should stop giving out loans so easily.
I see.
So there was one final update that came 3 months later. I'm happy to say nothing else has popped up on my credit in the last 3 months. What I am really happy to say is the credit card company itself is suing my mom for almost $40,000 according to my aunt.
Nice.
I no longer talk to my mom, but she messaged me on Facebook last week. She had the nerve to ask me both to ask the credit card company to drop the lawsuit and pay half of what they're asking for with the understanding that it'll be paid back at some point. Both of these with the veiled threat that she will call DCFS again if I don't.
Okay.
No and no. She's seeing the consequences of her actions.
Jesus. Wow. Wow. She's crazy.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes. All right. Back to you.
Alrighty.